Thank you very much, Monica, and thanks to Ralph Reed for inviting me to be with you today, and thanks for all of you for sticking around. I realize that you've had a long line of speakers here at lunch. It's been fantastic. I can pledge you one thing: I will keep to my time limit so that you can get to the Hill. But it's a very, very important time for you to be in Washington. And, you know, when you look at the issues that you're concerned with, of religious freedom, individual freedom, the family, all of the things that motivate you to the work you do, to draw the ring around those freedoms and to protect our way of life here at home, the absolutely critical variable is to provide for the common defense, as the preamble to the Constitution says. And let's be very clear, Barack Obama is not fulfilling that constitutional responsibility. This is a president who doesn't give priority to national security affairs. It gets in the way of what his real agenda is, which, as he told us in 2008, was fundamentally transforming America. And every day that goes by leaves the republic weaker. Virtually everything he has said about foreign and defense policy has proven wrong. We can see it in the famous reset button with Russia, which has resulted in armed force being used against a sovereign nation, Ukraine, and territory being shifted from one nation to another. We can see it in the Middle East today, where the president's policies have helped bring the region virtually to complete chaos. Today, however, a very historic day. The Wall Street Journal reports this morning that President Obama believes that the al-Maliki government in Iraq needs to be changed. Now let's contemplate exactly what this means. After 10 years or more of incessant criticism of the Bush administration's policies in Iraq and the Middle East, today Barack Obama came out in favor of regime change in Iraq. How about that? More than a day late and a dollar short, but the president's lack of attention to American national security affairs is something that our adversaries all around the world have seen. So that although every day brings new stories of the decline of American influence, our friends moving away from us, our adversaries increasing the pace and the scope of their challenges, the bad news is really still to come. Because friends and adversaries alike can see that there are only 2.5 years left. To us, it looks like a long time. To our enemies, it looks like a short time. But what it means is that the pace and the scope of the challenges we face internationally is likely to increase. Now, many people have tried to answer the question, what is it that motivates Barack Obama to follow the policies he pursues? And I'd like to just explore that a little bit today, because I think it's critical for the debate that we ought to be having in this country about the proper place of America in the world. This is a huge issue of great philosophical importance, and the president has a view of America's place in the world that puts him at odds with the long line of presidents, Democrat and Republican alike, going back to Franklin Roosevelt. He is the first president since Roosevelt not to wake up every morning and have as his first thought, what threats does the United States face today? And this is absolutely critical. Even the most libertarian of us should remember that Adam Smith said in The Wealth of Nations, the first duty of the sovereign is to protect the society against the violence of other societies. But that's not Barack Obama's first priority. Instead, he's somebody who sees America as part of the problem in the world. He sees America as too strong, too assertive, too privileged, too successful. And as he said famously to Joe the plumber in the 2008 campaign about spreading the wealth around, internationally, he doesn't see anything wrong with spreading the power around. Now, this isn't the first time that a leader of the Democratic Party has felt that way, but it is the first time he's been president. You know, going back to 1988, George H.W. Bush said of Michael Dukakis, his opponent in that election, He said, my opponent sees the United States as just another pleasant country out there somewhere on the UN roll call between Albania and Zimbabwe. And that's how Barack Obama sees it as well. Obama was asked on his first European trip by a reporter from England, do you believe in American exceptionalism? Listen to Obama's response, because it informs what we've seen of his policies in the past 5.5 years. The president said, yes, I believe in American exceptionalism, just as the Brits believe in British exceptionalism and the Greeks believe in Greek exceptionalism. Now let's parse that sentence the way the president would. In the first third, he says, yes, I believe in American exceptionalism, so all those people who say I don't, I've just proven you wrong. But then in the second two-thirds of the sentence, he takes it back. You know, there are 193 countries in the United Nations. The president could have continued, just as the Papua New Guineans believe in Papua New Guinean exceptionalism, just as the Burkina Fasosians believe. You get the point. If everybody is exceptional, then nobody's exceptional. That's what he thinks. So in his view, if America is part of the problem, then the answer is a withdrawn, inward-looking, declining America. He actually thinks that this will make the world a safer place. He thinks that it's American strength that's provocative. But he's 180 degrees wrong. It's like looking at the world through the wrong end of a telescope. It's not our strength that's provocative, it's our weakness that's provocative. Because our adversaries see the opportunity to take advantage when we turn away from the world, when we're not prepared to act, and they act instead on their own agenda. Now, right before us today, we see the consequences in Iraq of America withdrawing. And it's a laboratory experiment, something you rarely get in international affairs. We could have kept a residual American force in Iraq to help stabilize the country and protect the sacrifices that Americans had made over the past 10 years. But the president was determined to withdraw all American forces, and he did. He used the pretext, and that's a critical point, the pretext, not the reason, but the pretext of not achieving a status of forces agreement to justify the withdrawal. And today, you have chaos in Iraq, chaos in Syria, perhaps chaos throughout the Middle East, so that our close ally, Israel, finds itself in jeopardy across the board, and particularly from Iran's growing nuclear weapons program. What is the president's answer to this? As I say, first, he wants to change the regime in Iraq, something that he would have criticized the Bush administration for and did so before. He said he's going to send 300 military advisors to Iraq to help the al-Maliki regime, which is the functional equivalent of helping Iran, since the al-Maliki regime is effectively a puppet for the Ayatollahs in Tehran. And then this, and I know that this will calm all of your fears, he's going to send John Kerry to Baghdad. You know, he was scheduled, this is a perfect example of the Obama policy at work. He was scheduled to make his statement in the White House today at 12:30, and he was over 45 minutes late in making that statement. Why? Almost certainly because they were still making up what he was going to say. And this is the prospect that we face from now until the end of this administration. I believe as part of the overall national debate that we're having and the critical issues that you're raising on the domestic scene and internationally when it comes to issues of religious freedom, we have got to have a national debate on this country and America's proper place in the world. Are we a force for good, for stability, to protect our own interest, as I think all of us believe, or are we a force for instability and trouble, as Barack Obama believes? We got a weak and inexperienced president through 2 presidential elections because those issues were not debated adequately. We cannot afford for that to happen again. All of you will make your decisions on House and Senate races and the presidential race, probably pick many different candidates. But one thing that we have to ensure is that we do not leave our country undefended, because if America falls, all of our freedoms are lost. And that is the critical reason why providing for the common defense is a constitutional imperative and absolutely critical in the coming years ahead. Thank you very much. Good luck to you.